Hello?
Super Bee, this is the King Bee speaking. Are you ready for the first ever Hive Oclcock news?
I was born ready, King Bee. Thanks for calling me on the bee phone.
We have 30 seconds to air, sir. Honey barrels are full, the cameras are loaded, and the flowers are blossoming.
I'm ready to pollinate the entire downtown area and beyond.
May the royal jelly be with you, sir. And don't forget to make believe.
I won't let you down, King Bee. This show is on.
Welcome to the Hive Oclcock News. Coming to you live from downtown Los Angeles. The Hive Oclcock News with Captain Africa, Honeybee, the Weatherman, and our chief correspondent, Super Bee, produced by the King Bee of Hiveland.
Good evening, art lovers, bee and human alike. Welcome to the first ever Hive Oclcock News. I'm Super Bee. Tonight's special features: Stitch Fetish 4, Honeybee catches the love bug, The Bee Line with Paul Whitehead, album artist for 3 Genesis albums. We'll have an important LA weather update and some wise words by the one and only Captain Africa in the Captain's Corner. Stay tuned.
Hi, I am Ellen Schinderman. I am the curator of Stitch Fetish here at the Hive Gallery. We are in its 4th installment this year. When we began the show in 2012, we had just about 20 artists. This year we have more than 40 artists, 72 pieces of art from all over the world, all over the US, Australia, the UK, Berlin. We are doing Stitch Fetish 5 in February of 2017. Each year it gets bigger and better. If you used a needle to make your artwork and it is erotic but not objectifying and whimsical, it is right on track for what we are doing with Stitch Fetish.
Honeybee here, reporting from the Hive Gallery in downtown Los Angeles. Tonight, I embark on a mission to catch the love bug. I'm going to ask the citizens of this nation one question and one question only. Have you been bitten by the love bug? And if so, what does he look like? Because we need to catch him.
What did the love bug look like to me? Well, for a long time he was just kind of buzzing around a 24-ounce can of beer, sort of sitting on the lip of the can, falling in and burping and whatever. So it looked kind of like a fly. But now it's more like a beautiful butterfly named Dulcinea, which is so appropriate because I'm Don Quixote.
I believe so. She's a bit like the desert on sunrise and mist happening over the ocean at the same time. It hurts a lot.
Well, the love bug, he's gigantic. He has 83 eyes, 72 penises, and 400 vaginas.
Wow!
The last love bug that bit me was from Kentucky, and it was a real pain in the ass at the end.
Maybe once or twice.
What did he look like?
He?
What did she look like?
Yeah, I have been once. It was so colorful and he has a lot of colors.
The love bug looks like it has this really giant head that's slightly protruding off of its neck. and then there's like these little tiny red pieces of fuzz that hop out of the head and then gently rotate across the top.
And now for your LA weather update, we turn to the Hive's very own weatherman. Weatherman, can you hear me? Do we have audio? I think we're having a little audio difficulty here on our first show. I'm sure we'll get it ironed out next time. We don't appear to be getting through to the weatherman. We'll maybe check back later and see if we can contact him. This weather update is very important. We don't seem to be getting through. Weatherman, can you hear me? Okay, well, I think that's not working. Welcome to the first ever episode of The Beeline here on the Hive Oclcock News. I'm Super B, and with me tonight is the most amazing Paul Whitehead. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
I want to tell you that male bees, also known as drones, do not possess stingers, so you're perfectly safe here at the Hive. I do have a pointy nose, however. Now, on this beeline, we'll be speaking to a man who is known for amazing album art, but he's done so much more than that. There's also sculpture, even sand mandalas?
Sand mandalas?
I want to know so much more about what you do and how you do it. I guess the first question I have to ask is, when you're brought in to do an album cover for a band, what inspires you? How do you prepare yourself for that project?
Well, it's music. So the music has to inspire the whole thing. You know. I listen to the music, I get the artists to tell me what the words are about, what the album's about, whatever the concept is. You know. But it's the music. So basically I illustrate music. That's what I do.
Beautiful. Paul, I'd like to ask you about another of your projects. Not a visual one exclusively, but more audio. The Borg Symphony.
Oh, the Borg.
How long have you been involved, and when did you start that Borg Symphony? And how?
I don't remember when it was. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. But it happened out of a series of accidents. My musician friends would change their gear, you know, in their band.
They're going to upgrade?
They're going to upgrade their gear, and they say, hey, we're getting new stuff. Do you want this keyboard? And it was like great, you know, Roland keyboard with, you know, repeats and sequencers and everything.
You just get to have it?
Yeah, here you go.
Well, that's the right place at the right time.
I got a drum kit at one point, right? A full drum kit, but I couldn't play it because it was like too noisy. So yeah, I just learned to play around with this stuff and wrote what I thought was music, you know. Eventually I mentioned it to a couple of musicians. I said, I've got this idea for a band, you know, what kind of music would cyborgs make? And one of my friends said, wow, that's a great concept. Can I work on that with you? So it was a cross-feeding, me giving it instruments to begin with, right? And then them responding to the idea, and I just sort of like took a back seat. I wrote the stuff and they performed it.
But you are the ringleader of the Borg Symphony.
Not the leader, we're a collective.
Oh, excellent. Everyone is an equal piece.
A hive mind.
The hive mind, I think I could relate to that. Now here's a question back to the album art scenario. I would say, personally, I'm a student of the 70s, that the golden age of album art probably was the 70s, certainly some 60s and 80s. And in the United States, of course, we dropped albums for CDs, even though they lived on in Europe, and now it's come back around, and the United States does release new albums on vinyl. But what do you see as the future of album art? Do you think we'll get away from discrete units like a DVD and a CD or an LP, and just it'll all be downloads, and then what happens?
People will download.
Do you think that the next wave will be virtual reality album art?
With a virtual artist making it with a virtual bus?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe. And you can virtually interact with the art?
You can virtually enjoy it.
Coming up next on the Beeline, here on the Hive Oclcock News, I'll be interviewing the second interviewee of our two-part interview, Trisha Van Cleef. Now, this is a collaborator and associate of Paul Whitehead. Stay tuned to the Hive O'Clock News. Welcome to part 2 of the very first Beeline interview here on the Hive O'Clock News. I'm Super B. With me this evening is the lovely Tricia Von Cleef. Thank you for being here.
Good evening.
How are you this evening?
Very well, thanks.
We're always delighted to see you here at the Hive Gallery openings, but this is a special treat to have you on the Beeline.
Live in person.
Live, in person, and direct. I've heard it said, in fact, I've even read it said, in fact, I've even heard you interviewed, no, I didn't hear it, I read you interviewed, that you work quite differently compared to Paul Whitehead. That you're more spontaneous and you don't even do the planning thing, you just start with what you're going to create and let that process sort of define where you go.
Spontaneous.
What are you working on right now, Tricia?
Doodling.
Doodling.
Serious doodling.
Serious doodling. That is, I guess, the essence of spontaneity.
Doodling is like the warm-up to spontaneity.
I see. Do some of the doodles make it into the final piece?
Yeah, sometimes they come to life and make themselves manifest, you know.
But other times they could be buried or...
They could be lost in the malaise of laziness.
I understand.
But Tricia doesn't like to work a lot. She's very, very picky, and no more than 20 minutes at a time.
For a piece?
For a piece.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you have done a variety of media. You're not just painting, you've done furniture.
Furniture, yeah.
Yeah, and you're taking elements of clothing. Women's fashion is directly involved in some of your work that
Well,
I've
I
seen.
use pantyhose and stockings and hosiery, right?
But is that something that goes on after the painting is done, or is it also incorporated into some of the paint goes on to it?
It's all part of the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I take hose and I stretch it as far as it will go, you know, before it breaks, and then fix it with staples and pins and so on, right? It's amazing, the energy in those stretchings.
And it's very immediate, like it's this structure that suddenly pops.
Right, and I freeze it.
Tricia, I have one final question for you this evening. One question of great import. Well, actually more it's like export. What do you think the main cultural export of the United States is today? Could it be bacon and cheese on everything? Could it be the slanket? What do you think?
Apart from peanut butter?
Peanut butter probably is high up there.
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
What element of the entertainment world do you think has taken off the most, be it for bad or for good?
Well, after movies, reality shows.
Reality
Everything's
television.
a reality show now, everything.
Yes.
And people in other countries, they lap it up because they get to see this life, you know, that they think we live. All Americans live like that reality show.
Thank you for the reality of being here on the Beeline of the Hive O'Clock News. And please give my regards to Paul.
It's been real.
We look forward to seeing you again. And now, back to the news.
Don't forget, Super B, to make believe.
Look who's here, there's the boy I'm mad about. Oh my dear, when he's near, I just feel like passing out. So big and strong, so full of you. Oh mama, oh papa, tell me the truth. Ain't he sweet? See him coming down the street. Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't he sweet, huh? Ain't he nice? Look him over once or twice. Now I ask you very confidentially.
Don't forget, friends, life is magic. Creativity is the honey of the soul.
Now it's time for us to go to the Captain's Corner with the Hive's very own Captain Africa and some words of wisdom.
Hello, I'm Captain Africa, and this is the Captain's Corner. I know you bees and you beeeeettes are ready to go get at it because spring is coming, and I am too. But let me tell you something. If you don't use a non-GMO gluten-free condom, your stinger could be destroyed and your flower could die. Do not let the flowers die in the spring. Cover up your stinger. This is a message from Captain Africa.
That's the Hive O'Clock News for this month, friends. Thanks for joining us. And remember, a creative and busy bee is a happy bee. Don't forget to be yourself.
Next week on the Hive O'Clock News, join us for outtakes from the Beeline interview between Super Bee and Genesis artist Paul Whitehead. Tune your antennae into our YouTube channel every Thursday at 1 p.m. And don't forget to make beeeeee.
Buzz around, buzz around, buzz around, buzz around, keep a buzz around.